Last week on Gleeboot, we talked about the surprise regionals episode, Original Song, where they sang their own original songs that were kind of bops, but a little classist, and they knocked my headband, which is my favorite original song. They also sang Try Him Out. So that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Great.
Always impressive.
Just gotta pull my random divergent memories in the last episode.
Yeah.
Bring them together. So, welcome to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And we have another member of my clan. The Callaghan clan is here. Clan with a C. I just want to specify that.
Yeah. Time and play.
Timing is everything.
Read the room.
Yeah, my brother Conor is here with us today.
Woo.
Welcome, Conor.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Aw.
Yeah, welcome to the wonderful world of Glee podcasts.
I would say the one and only, but I don't know. Is it the one and only?
No, there are others.
We wish. We'd be really cornering that
I
market.
mean, this is the most popular.
Absolutely.
It is. We are the number one, according to one of our fan reviews. We are the number one.
Yep,
5
exactly.
stars. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can never trust the review of a fan. It's
Whoa.
like trusting a review that your mother gives you.
Oh. Yeah. My mom.
Yeah.
My mom thinks everything
it's like
is great.
It's like reading the comments.
Yeah.
I saw a meme today that was like, Lord, give me the strength to not read the comments, and the wisdom to not read the comments, and the courage to not read the comments.
What were the comments on the meme?
I didn't read them. It inspired me.
You had the strength.
The strength from God.
You just need to that's one of those you take and print out, put on your computer.
Yep, right at the top next to where the camera is.
Yep.
Right. So it covers a quarter of your screen.
The important quarter. Yeah. So Conor, what is your relationship with the show Glee?
Besides being related to one of the hosts of the most popular Glee podcasts, it was on when I was in college, so it was one of those, I had roommates and friends who would watch it, but it would just kind of be on in the background, and I didn't pay a ton of attention to it. But then, I've listened to a couple episodes of the podcast, more specifically one where my sister was on. But also, that was kind of as I was getting pumped up for today. But yeah, then I watched this episode, and I a while ago just been when you first started this, had watched I think the first couple episodes, and was like, okay, this makes sense. High school drama. They're following the standard high school drama tropes. I get it.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of that. But I mean, that's kind of my background with Glee.
Yeah, Glee loves tropes.
Oh,
if we know anything about Glee.
They do.
Love a good stereotype.
Yep.
Right? Which was and we'll get into it this episode. It was very half-assed tropes. Did everyone just take, did the writers just all right, 17, second season, we'll save up better tropes for later.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
the lull before their finale, which I hope ramps up soon.
The whole
this
episode
was boring.
Yeah, the whole episode was half-assed. Definitely.
Yeah. Not even Goop could save it.
No, I even think her performance...
you took my... I was glad that I at least got to be on an episode with Goop Girl.
Oh, yeah. She...
and who are my... I was gonna...
Oh, yeah, did you take the quizzes?
I'm looking for my results.
Oh my God,
I did take
amazing.
the quizzes. So I should be dating Blaine.
Just like me. We should both be dating Blaine.
I'll fight you for him. But wait, no. According to my question, I would not fight and then like talk to them after, or was that my? But then I got I am Finn, which my partner Jenny disagrees with. Who did she say? She said I should be Kurt, but
Kurt. Interesting.
I can't see you as
There
Kurt.
are so many Finns on this. A lot of our guests are Finns. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess we just have a lot of good-hearted people.
What's the algorithm behind Finn?
Right. Like how do we get these results? I don't understand how some people that who've been on like, yeah, I got Finn. I'm like, I don't get it. Maybe it's just the good heart thing, because otherwise Finn's kind of, I mean, everyone's loosey-goosey with who they really are, but
yeah,
it's a level of like, I feel like all of those quizzes are either designed to, we're going to placate the most amount of people, like either do no harm or let me cause everyone to say it's not that. Like, that's not your character.
Yeah.
Well, people change so much. Like, be Finn today, and next week you'll be someone else, and then the week after that you'll be someone else.
And the same goes for the actual characters. One week there's this person.
Yep.
So are you drinking anything today, Connor?
I am. I guess similar to Caitlin, I have double fisting as well. I have a kombucha, so I have billions of probiotics, which are read on the thing. It's the Boo, which I feel like has to be from California, right?
Probably. It's kombucha.
It sounds like a sketch from SNL. And then Lagunitas hop water. So I don't know if you've had it, but if you're like, it's non-alcoholic, but it's, I mean, to some people, so it takes the worst part of beer, the hops. But I like hops, so like it's like a LaCroix, like sparkling water, clear in a beer can or like in a beer bottle, but it tastes hoppy, so you're like, I can drink this in public, and it's non-alcoholic.
It's literally just hops.
Yeah, it's like hoppy water.
Oh, gross!
Right, exactly. To a certain subset, it's the grossest thing. It is like it is the cilantro of like non-alcoholic options.
Arguably, you're drinking like two things that a lot of people just like would find gross. Like everyone I say, like I know is like, ew, kombucha's gross, and I'm like, I like it. So you're really going out there.
Hey, I like kombucha.
I do too.
Not a fan of hops.
Me either. Oh my god, Alyssa, we're the same.
Well, and it's a kombucha that doesn't have, because some of them like have those pieces of SCOBY left in it.
Yeah. So
this one's pretty clean. Like that's always like when you get like a slippery surprise when you're drinking the kombucha. You're like, ooh. Ooh. That was uncalled for.
Yeah, Alyssa made a daiquiri, right?
Yes. Why are you introducing my drink?
Segueing.
I'm segueing. I'm transferring.
Who had the pickleback last time?
I had the pickleback.
Or
yeah, that was me.
No, I actually, yeah, I was so it's a weird runner thing. I do drink a lot of pickle juice. It's like good for cramping.
Oh, really?
So like, yeah, if you like go for a long run or you're like, I mean, especially in the heat and you're looking for something to like kind of rejuvenate versus just like Gatorade, like it's a good way to like keep your muscles from cramping.
Fascinating.
Very
Did not know that. This week, as
probably not
Cullen's
with Jameson.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I made myself a daiquiri, and it's in like a full 8-ounce glass, and I drank it all. It's gone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, in 8-ounce glass, is that like what they give you in like grade school for orange juice, and you drink it in a second?
No, it's the bigger one. Is that a 12-ounce?
16 is like a pint, I think.
Well, it's like a normal, you know, like you have the small glasses and then you have the large glasses.
Mm-hmm.
It's the large glass.
Either way,
I'm picturing hand motions, like Alyssa's doing like size motions, and I'm like,
I totally did.
I'm like seeing this happen, and I'm like, yes, this is great. Pantomiming on a very visual medium.
For those of you listening on the radio,
picture this.
While I was drinking it was fabulous. It has strawberries and a dash of coconut milk and a dash of maple syrup and rum.
You have been on a big maple syrup kick.
I love maple syrup. I can't do anything about it. It's my favorite thing.
I think
I taste it.
You're
Some
making
of it got
a
on
good
my finger. I licked it off my finger and I like squealed in joy. That's how much I like maple syrup.
Have you read about the Great Maple Syrup Heist?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, if you love maple syrup, that's probably like...
Oh my gosh.
They were supposed to make a movie about it, weren't they? Was it going to be Will Ferrell?
Oh, maybe. Well, we had
someone...
Yeah, we had someone in one of our grad classes who wrote a sitcom about it. Cullen was the star. He was the protagonist.
Oh yeah, I played the Canadian dad.
It was so good.
Yeah, I'm drinking a High Noon, which is vodka and soda with a pineapple juice. I got it at the store on sale. Its Glee name is gonna be the Tina Cohen Chang, because I think Tina would enjoy this drink.
It's good. I had some yesterday.
Yeah,
and she, in an episode where she actually gets a little bit of screen time.
I mean, this is like a little bit of screen time for Tina this week. Unfortunately.
I'm having a rum and coke. It doesn't have a Glee name yet, I don't think. Or it might, but I'd have to go back and listen.
I feel like you have this every other week. How can it not have a Glee name?
I mostly come up with the Glee names when I go to make the graphic, unless Cullen names it. The only one that does actually have a name was the Jesse St. Jameson, which I almost made, but then decided not to. I don't know why. I just grabbed the rum instead of the Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so are we ready to get into this crap episode?
Yeah, this was boring.
Let's do it.
Just gonna say it right up front.
So, Night of Neglect is some content. Yep.
It happened.
It opens with some math that we actually fact-checked.
Oh my gosh. I died! When Shu writes on the board, what was it? 5,000 times 0.25 equals 20,000.
25,000. We wrote 25,000.
No, he wrote 20,000.
It was 20,000.
Did he?
That is not how math works,
Oh my
people.
god.
It was awful. And I was just like, yeah, no.
I was like, so where, I mean, I was thinking of the logistics. Where is Nationals? Is it New York?
Yeah.
So, okay, so 10 people. Like, so New York is like 5,000, and then the other club of 5 people, it's like 250 to go to Detroit, which granted is like only 2 hours for them, but still.
Yeah. So what opens the episode is they're trying to raise money for Nationals, and Will wants to sell saltwater taffy. And as Brittany says, I love saltwater.
I literally could not get over the fact that, like, this was such, like, an old man plan, and no one was saying that. I was like, he literally sounds like a 55-year-old man saying, we're gonna sell saltwater taffy to the children. And I'm like, why is no one making fun of that?
Saltwater taffy is really good, but I also acknowledge that it is a very old person sort of thing.
Yeah.
That you might buy at like a vacation, like beach place, and be like, oh, I guess I'll spend like a nickel
like
on
a
it.
tourist store.
Yeah.
And you think about all the Halloween candy moms, like nobody would let their kid like buy saltwater taffy from another kid, right? Like, since they're not sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It just I don't get it. Also, he literally was like, "Yeah, we did this back in the '80s," and I'm like, "Right, because that's gonna
What?
work."
Yeah, what makes you think it's gonna work now?
And the kids are
Clearly, he doesn't understand inflation.
Right? Yeah.
But they were trying to sell them at 25 cents a piece. Is that
Right.
accurate?
So, I mean, what did it happen in the episode before about what like their money before and the whole who lost the money in the Cayman Islands?
Sue, the cheerleading coach, when she lost nationals or regionals, they gave all her money to the Glee club, and then
But she had already hidden it,
in the Cayman Islands in offshore accounts.
and they don't have access to it, I guess. Which, the funny thing is, I actually thought that was going to be part of the storyline this week.
Right?
I was like, oh, like, some of the old cheerleaders are going to be like, oh, we know how to get to these accounts because, we know things about Sue. But nope, nothing happened. They decided to do this weird benefit instead. I'm like, cool. Okay.
So the math that would actually work in this case is 20,000 times 0.25 equals 5,000. Not 5,000 times 0.25 equals 20,000. That is not math.
That is not math. I love that you guys are so focused on the math. I literally blanked out the numbers. I blanked out the numbers and I was like, I don't see anything there.
No, it's because I learned how to tip by doing like 10% and 5% and 15% and 20%.
Yeah.
I know how it works for tipping.
That's crazy. I literally always just use my calculator.
Yeah, well, they
And clearly he should too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there are a lot of, like, some of those kids are pretty smart. Like, I don't know.
The Brainiacs.
Like, the Brainiac should have been like, Mr. Shu, you don't know how to do math.
Well, what I want to know is like how this got by so many people and actually onto the show. Like, did they write it in the script, and then so many people read it in the script, and then they wrote it on the board? And how many times did they take that shot that he wrote it on the board multiple times? Like,
I bet.
I mean, I
looked at this.
I don't think this is the Starbucks cup at the red wedding. Right?
Yeah. Well, I bet some props person had just wrote most of the thing. They're like, what was it again? It was this. And then they put it up there, and then she was just supposed to write that number. So, like, I guess we have to blame props or set deck. I don't know.
We could blame Ryan Murphy. He hand wrote that equation.
Yeah,
himself.
that's his
Oh,
handwriting.
I mean, that's a great place for the blame to fall, right?
Even if this went to post, like, they could have fixed it there. It wouldn't have been that hard.
True.
I know.
There you go. There are, like, so many solutions, but that's how little Glee cares about a lot of things. They're like, we don't
Continuity.
care.
Fact
We're-
check? No
We're
way,
literally
math is
that
real.
meme about gays who can't do math. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not even that good at math.
So the math is wrong. Okay.
I'm not even that good at math, and I know that's wrong.
So they lost all the non-math people in the episode like, in the first 2 minutes. The rest is trash.
They don't even know math. Oh my god.
So they are talking about trying to, like, that they're not going to sell enough taffy because no one likes them. And then Mike is like, I can't sit here and listen to this. And he gets up and he's like, you guys complain about being ignored all the time, but you guys ignore us. We were just on TV in the regionals for the Brainiacs competition. And now we went our way to Detroit, and the school isn't giving us any money to go. And Sam is like, you're on TV? Why didn't you tell us? And they're like, we did. And it turns out Mike, Tina, Artie, and Brittany are on the Brainiacs. And they want money to go to Detroit for nationals, and they don't want their parents to pay for it because it's a school club.
Yeah.
And
Valid, honestly.
Shu is like, I can see Mike and Tina and Artie, but Brittany? And we just need to unpack this because is it Finn who's like, is it because two of them are Asian and Artie wears glasses?
No, I think it was
Yeah,
Puck.
that was.
It was Puck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, let's
unpack.
I mean, this is 2011.
So
Doesn't make it right.
so fun fact, I was also on like an academic decathlon team, and I was on TV. So I really felt very connected to these characters this episode. I felt for their struggle. Did not understand why Shu wanted to take it upon himself, but also I literally could not believe that he was like, Brittany, I don't get it. And
'Cause
he's
she's
literally in
dumb.
front of everyone basically saying, I, as a teacher, think that she is an idiot. At least
To
one of
be
the students, who's like one of the most problematic students, literally was like, oh, is it because you think that Asians should be on trivia things? And like, at least he was like pointing out what was like another horrible obviousness about that. But oh boy.
But then the teacher playing into the stereotype is like, maybe you shouldn't be dealing with youth.
I don't know why they decided to put Brittany on the team. They built up her idiocy since day one, and then just decided to turn it on its head. Like
They needed
not-
a body, and they
Yeah.
lucked out that she knew about cat diseases,
Because Lord Covington.
which we
I
haven't
was
really
gonna
been
say,
introduced
she had
to.
a cat before.
She has a cat later in the series, but
Yeah.
I don't
But
think...
it doesn't count yet.
Exactly.
Well-
That's what doesn't make sense. Is like, I understand about this Lord Covington thing, but like, she's briefly said stuff about her cat, but that's kind of it. Like, they really just like drop us into like, yeah, she was our secret weapon. Well, how is she your secret weapon? Did you know
How
all the
did
categories ahead of time?
Yeah.
You don't.
Which-
That never happens.
The categories are really random and weird. Are the categories actually like that, Hannah? They're not, right?
No, it'll mostly just be like, this is pop culture. This is like a 90s sports question. It's very more general. But that was like, they just lucked
Like
out.
Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, it's exactly kind of like a Trivial Pursuit kind of thing where like it's just a general category and they give you like a facet question. But like, it just doesn't make sense because they didn't know the categories ahead of time, but they're like, yeah, Brittany will be good enough. Also, they bribed her with dots. Dots is a disgusting candy. I'm sorry.
Has she shown in the past like a affinity for candy or?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Like, that was
No.
just this episode.
That's them
Sea
literally
salt and
saying she's
dots.
so stupid she'll go on TV for candy. Like,
In the worst
Gross
there
candy.
is. Yeah.
They can only get
Sea
the
salt
rights to
taffy.
dots.
what? Like, I think a 75-year-old woman wrote this episode. She's like, I love saltwater taffy and dots.
Oh, dots.
Yeah. Like, that's what was
Was it-
happening.
Well, they're on TV. Was it like the Channel 11, like local access?
Yeah, probably, because that's what ours was on. I'm assuming it also looked like a 70s game show, and I was uncomfortable. It was so weird. Oh,
Well, I mean, these kids never leave the school, so of course they didn't have time to watch it.
Why was it in New York?
What?
It was in New
There-
York, right?
no.
That was
No,
the
they-
regionals.
No, the are you talking about the thing that was on TV?
The decathlon?
Yes.
No, that was just local access TV kind of
Why
thing.
did they need?
They needed money to go to Detroit.
Okay, so
Which-
it was Detroit.
Yeah.
They're
Which is
no, they're
198
going
miles
to
from
Detroit. Yeah, for like
Lima.
a big one.
What?
Yeah, they're national.
Oh, right. Okay. I was getting their local thing confused with
Yeah.
what hasn't happened yet, which is in the future.
Right.
Okay.
Which also is very confusing. And I understand why you're confused because I am also
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's just like a big mush of question mark.
Basically, all I have to say is Rod Remington is in places and doing things where he shouldn't be ever. He goes too many places and involved in too many things that it just doesn't make sense.
Too many fingers and too many pies.
Gross. Because his
Ew.
fingers in a lot
Lots
of pies.
pie fingers.
In a lot of gross ways. He once hooked up with Freddie Mercury. He said that.
Oh.
An insult to a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Holly Holiday, Gwyneth Paltrow, who, do we wonder if she remembers that she was in this episode?
Probably.
Probably.
If we asked her, like, hey, remember when you were on Glee? She was like, Glee? I don't know what that is. And then her husband's like, I wrote the show. She's like, oh, yeah, I was there for a couple of weeks. Why?
This is why I did the mushrooms episode of Goop. I had to forget this.
Yeah. So she gives Will the idea to do a night of neglect where they sing, like a benefit concert where they sing songs by neglected artists.
Okay, question. Is this ever a thing? Has anyone ever heard of a night of neglect as a benefit ever?
No.
No, that was my next, like, how do we quantify a neglected artist? Like, one hit wonder, like they just never had, like, sold as many albums as they should.
Well,
Artists
it obviously
on SoundCloud.
it can't be anything quantifiable because they use Aretha Franklin and she's like one of the best-selling artists of all time. That doesn't make any sense. So
the whole episode makes no sense.
A neglected artist is Carly Rae Jepsen.
I will second that. I actually agree with that. Because Cullen has actually gotten me around to listening to her music. So yeah, I no longer neglect her.
I could see, like, maybe shunned by the top 40 for a period of time might be the only way to, like, quantify that.
I have a question.
But no, I don't think this is the thing.
Are we talking about the Sue plot, like, separately, or are we lumping it together?
I'm just going to talk about the Sue plot after we talk about Sunshine Corazon.
Okay. So then I'll just say this part then. So while they're having, like, him and Holly Holiday are having their little date at his house, I don't like the mood lighting that's happening. I don't like any of it. But the thing I hated the most was his hot pizza bit, where he bit into the pizza. He's like, oh, hot. And I'm like, I want you to choke on that pizza. I hate you. That was so bad. That acting was so bad. Also so unnecessary. Just bite into your fucking pizza and enjoy it. Okay, I'm done.
In that pizza, that was in my notes. Like, that pizza looked fake or cold. Like, it was
it was like, if it was hot, there would be like goopy cheese. There wasn't goopy goop.
Yeah.
Goop.
I didn't even plan that. But also you were saying, like, I thought you were gonna say, like, that pizza like was fake. I thought you were gonna say that pizza was bad at acting for some reason, and I was gonna agree with you. It was bad at looking hot. How dare it?
And, like, way too small. Like, it was like a Jack's Frozen Pizza for two people. Like, no wonder she left you.
Well, like, in the last time, or one of the last times she appeared, when she talked about him having good beer, and it was like Dos Equis.
Yes, exactly. So it was like, he's got the best frozen pizza from Walmart.
Yeah, let's sit on a pillow and eat it holding hands.
Yeah, why are they sitting on a... He has a dining room, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He also has, like, a kitchenette table. Like, he has so many other spaces. I don't understand.
So, yeah, they're on a date, and she's all like, you're, like, she's been gone, and he's not used to having a woman who's not begging to spend more time with him.
Gross.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, I'm a Rolling Stone. I'm a sub, which she says 7 times this episode. That could be a drinking game in and of itself.
Well, and anyone who's known a substitute teacher knows they're not like a cowboy.
I hope there is a substitute out there who is,
I'm the sub. I'm here to teach math and better than Will.
She is better at teaching Spanish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, he's like the aggressor in every relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the aggressor in every situation.
Yeah. He just does things without anyone's consent, and we're like, why?
Rocky Horror episode.
Oh, I will be mentioning that later.
No.
I will be mentioning that later.
Yeah. So they decide to do a night of neglect, And
Whatever that means.
The pizza could have come up with a better decision after that day.
If they give the pizza more speaking lines.
So then they're talking about which artists they're gonna do. The teens are. Tina's doing. What would your favorite? I guess so. We picked Carly Rae. What would your favorite neglected artist be? Like, who would of your favorite? Like, who would you do?
Good Lord. I probably don't even know any neglected artists.
No, I consider you like Walk the Moon a lot.
They're neglected?
I don't think they're super neglected, but they're neglected enough.
Well, how do you know?
But I think I think actually probably like 2012, 2013 would have been a great time to do Walk the Moon because they weren't like as popular as they are now. Because I didn't hear about them until I was like a freshman in college. So that would have been 2012, 2013. So that actually might have been a good spot. And they had already been doing music by then, like a lot of music.
All right, I have an artist that probably none of you have ever heard of.
Okay.
Jamil.
No, I've never heard of that person.
Yeah, he's got good music. Jahneel.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it.
All right, so that's one to consider for the Gleeboot.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Super Fruit.
Oh, well, yeah, like now, because they're, well, I don't know. Because they also are in pentatonic, so like a lot of people do know about them. But I guess like that's like quantifying like what do we consider neglected?
Well, we can't quantify it because Glee would. I mean, I guess what would be your artist, and then what would be on Glee?
Yeah, like what would our instructor be telling the characters? Like, this is how we're going to quantify it. I think it would need to be someone who is someone who's been around for a little while, but like people just don't really know about, or yeah, because I like Alyssa's ideas, like someone that like we didn't know about. So we'd be bringing them to the spotlight. Because that's kind of what they end up talking about throughout the rest of the episode is like, this person needs to be more in the spotlight kind of thing.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like, am I going to like hear some songs that are really good that I've never heard before that probably should be on the radio and aren't, or what?
Yeah. Who's the artist that Tina decides to sing again? What was her name? I'm pulling it up.
I don't remember.
I also don't remember.
The song is Rivers, and it is sung by... I'm going to find it.
Is this... Well, I guess, does Glee have a Spotify channel that you can just, like, easily... I'm sure there's Glee tribute.
Mm-hmm. I'm on their Wikipedia page. It's called I Follow Rivers by Swedish recording artist Likey Lee.
I've never heard of that person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
I get... Yeah, because, like, Will literally, like... It's a loose definition, because someone's like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know. Someone you think hasn't been given enough attention. And it's like, that's super fucking subjective.
My girlfriend came up with it on a bad pizza day.
The pizza was really hot. It burned my mouth.
You know what would have been cool? If they had actually, like, written this episode with the intention of, for real, getting artists that are not well known out to the world. So like had people compete, like, you know, they had this, I don't know,
the Glee Project?
Yes, the Glee Project. They had the Glee Project for people who wanted to be on the show. They could have done something for songwriters and performers who wanted their work showcased.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess the idea, like the perfect example, like, is it Rodriguez, Sugar Man, the guy who was like not popular here but huge in South Africa. I feel like that's like, I mean, in my mind, what a neglected like forgot about, but like huge in other places.
Yeah, no, like that again, like that's like another a normal interpretation. Like that's
Oh, I forgot. Put my Glee hat on. Okay.
yeah, put your Glee hat on and forget logic. Yeah, like that's like the biggest flaw of this whole storyline is that like there's no set
I guess it's night of neglect. I guess we neglect to invite people, neglect to come up with good songs,
yeah.
neglect to write a script.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Like they literally were like they wrote episodes 18 through the end of the season. They're like, fuck guys, we forgot to write number 17. And like they just threw
we
it
neglected to write it.
exactly. We neglected. It's like, well, someone came up with a stupid title and now we gotta figure out a story for it.
Yeah, so Tina's gonna sing "I Follow Rivers" by Likey Lee. Mike is he's gonna dance and not have his moves distracted by their singing. Mercedes is going to sing Aretha Franklin.
The most neglected artist of them all. Well, though, like, what was her reasoning saying that she was neglected? Like, I don't even remember.
She sang Aretha at her audition, and they haven't done her since.
That's okay.
She's
Again,
neglected by the Glee Club.
That's like
Alright.
another very loose interpretation of neglect. Like, essentially, it's like they neglected to let Mercedes sing, which is another sort of undercurrent, but that's not what the purpose of the theme was, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's not what we thought the purpose of the theme was, but
That's
is
how she
all of her
interpreted it.
interpretation.
Yep.
Well, Rachel is gonna sing "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion.
Oh my God.
Which is the most overplayed song ever.
And Mike does this thing where he's like, like he does his little hand motion, and is like, "What are you doing?" And Tina is like, "That's the most iconic song," and she's like, "The neglected artist is me."
Rachel was so
Rachel.
gross this episode. I did not like hearing her like selfishness come out. I was like, I thought you were over this. You sang that song about how you want to get it right, and then now you don't care. What?
It's like they don't keep track of character development from episode to episode.
What? Oh my god. So new for Glee.
Oh.
So then Sunshine Corazon shows up, who Rachel sent to a crack house.
But it wasn't an active crack house.
It wasn't
Yeah, it has literally been 16 episodes since we've seen her.
Because Sunshine Corazon was on the opposing team of the Brainiacs.
Yeah, which was, I guess, like good for her that she has time to do multiple activities.
Yeah. And she is like, I wanted to volunteer to sing at your benefit. I really like what you're doing, and I would sing a song about being neglected all by myself. Another iconic overplayed
song, yeah. I can think of like 6 movies in which it appears, probably.
Benefit, which had the benefit been like made up within 2 hours that she just shows up and is like, I'll be in it.
Basically.
Well, the other thing that she says is also like, I'm like the best singer and it's so alone at the top. And so like I was like, wow, being in vocal adrenaline really went to her head very quickly. But then I was wait, it's been 16 episodes. It's been like 6 months probably.
Yeah, she essentially said the same exact thing as Rachel. Like the one who's neglected is me.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, so she sings All By Myself. We get to see more of her arm dancing. Mm-hmm. It was greatly missed. And I think there's some shots of Rachel looking longingly at Finn and Quinn.
Yeah.
There's several...
Yeah, that was playing throughout the episode.
Yeah. And so Sunshine is like, I'll bring my 600 Twitter followers to the event.
Everyone's like,
that's
wow,
how it works.
That's so many Twitter followers.
They're definitely all in the central Ohio area.
Do they even have 600 seats in that auditorium? That's what I want to know.
Great question.
Well, clearly nobody has parents since they can't even sell
their
tickets
parents don't even want to come.
Yep.
Yeah, where were Bert and Carol?
They totally would have been there.
Yeah, they were like, they already sang at my wedding. I don't need more Glee.
Kurt and Blaine were the substitutes for Carol and Bert, because we can only have so many members of the Hudson. What's
The
Kurt's last
Hudson
name?
Hummel.
Yeah, the Hudson Hummel family.
Yeah, so when at one point, because you said substitute, this made me think Holly at one point is like, I'm a sub, and for a second my brain went to as opposed to a dom. So I'm like, what does this have to do with anything?
Oh my god,
I mean-
during the pizza scene?
During the pizza scene.
Yeah.
Mr. Assertive Will over there is definitely a dom.
Too
Oh,
hot.
Uncomfy.
Pizza too hot.
Oh, uncomfy.
Baby likes his
Don't.
soup.
No!
Oh my God.
Triggered.
Stop it!
Trigger warning.
What's wrong with you?
Watch me clean this bean or grape.
Oh. Oh, I don't.
Ugh.
We have to talk about that too. Oh no.
Yeah, we'll get to the Will. I kept the Will, Holly, Emma love triangle as its own little storyline.
Cool.
Okay, perfect. I'm not looking forward to that.
Me.
Yeah.
We can skip it if you guys want.
No, well, we got to go into it.
Our
For the
listeners
fan.
depend on us.
For the number one fan.
The number.
For
do it
Beth.
the number one. Do it for her. Do it
For Beth.
face.
Do you hear that, Beth? She's gonna be like, "Why isn't she calling me mom?"
Oh my gosh.
Beth is my mother.
Also Quinn's baby.
True.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I forgot. Poor
Alyssa's
Beth.
mom was named after Quinn's baby.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Sue puts together, in order to stop the Night of Neglect and destroy the Glee Club, she puts together a League of Doom.
Or is it
Involving-
Legion?
I can't remember.
I don't either. But that whole bit, like, by the end, I was like, I don't know, Terry. What was it? I wasn't listening.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
With Terry, she calls her a shrew, which love bringing that back from Shakespeare. Thanks. She has Terry. She has pedophile Sandy Ryerson, who's still out in the
Why?
school building.
Why?
Why do they keep bringing him back? It's not funny.
Yeah, no, he's not funny. He's just gross. Also, this is kind of a little spoiler for the MVP, LVP, but did not like the fact that he self-identifies as a predatory gay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that was
let's-
bad.
Let's add that. And I mean, think like was never good, but even in like, which highlights this was on Fox, and they already brought up like weird hippies and vaccine stuff, and like earlier in the episode, which I had in my notes. But then to have that line, it was like, oh, let's bring another stereotype that's really tears people down.
Yeah, Glee loves to both reinforce and break down stereotypes at the same time, which I don't find effective really ever. Like, they poke fun at it, and it's like, oh yeah, Sandy Ryerson, he's such a hoot. He's so gross, but also he's funny. It's like, is he? Is he funny? I don't think he is.
No.
I don't like his sweaters tied around his neck like that.
No. Yeah.
That's just one of the things I don't like.
Let's just leave
Yeah.
it
All
there.
right, moving on. And then
Yeah.
who else is there?
Dustin Goolsby, the coach of vocal
Dustin
adrenaline.
Sperm Count Goolsby.
Yeah. Coach of vocal adrenaline. Who will later go on to play Hades in a Disney Channel original movie. I just want everyone to know that.
Oh,
Wow.
my God.
fun! Wait, the
Thank you.
Descendants movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how I even know that title, but yeah, that makes sense. That's a good casting choice. I think that's good. I
Sure.
can see it. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Was he bad?
well,
Was it not
Cullen
great?
has actually seen all of the Descendants.
I haven't seen the third one yet.
Oh,
There's a third one.
there's a third one.
It's a
You know, there was
trilogy.
there was a third Cheetah Girls movie that I refused to watch. It didn't happen.
You draw the line.
It's-
I draw the line.
It-
Also, I don't remember the actress's name because I'm terrible, but the one Cheetah Girl, she's begging on her Instagram bio for everyone to watch Cheetah Girls on Disney Plus because she needs the royalties. So help her out.
Ah.
Well, it's It's like The Matrix. It's a bummer that they didn't make any sequels.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah, The Matrix. What a great standalone film.
Single movie.
No sequel.
Well, I'm going on the record here begging the film industry to figure out some regulations so that I can have more work.
Okay.
True.
Moment of silence for Alyssa.
Thank you. And for everyone else who's out of work.
Yes, absolutely.
Including Miss Cheetah Girl.
Yeah.
Regulations on the Rona not making sequels of movies they shouldn't.
Yeah, that too.
Yes. Yeah.
Alyssa wants work, but not that bad. Anyway.
So where were we? Okay,
Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. So she puts together the Legion of Doom to destroy the Glee Club and Will Schuester. And Terry's like, I don't hate Will. And she's like, but you do hate the Glee Club. And she's like, true. So she gives them all assignments, and they form a hecklers club involving Asimo, Becky Jackson, and I'm blocking out his name.
Jacob Ben Israel.
Jacob Ben Israel.
Ugh.
Let's take all the minorities and make them heckle and make them bad guys.
Evil.
Yeah, I also I think his name is something Sussman, Jacob Ben Israel's actor. I saw his name pop up on the screen and screamed. I was like, no, I don't want to see him. And then there he was.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it, and feel free to disagree with me. Sue's getting old. Like, I don't find her attempts to get rid of Glee Club funny anymore. It's just kind of boring.
So I thought you meant like aging wise for a second. I was like,
I know.
okay.
I was like, wait, it's coming out of my mouth, and I better clarify.
No, yeah, I don't find these attempts. I didn't find it clever or funny at all. It actually kind of seems sad.
It's like it's almost
old hat.
Because she isn't evolving enough.
Mm-hmm.
She becomes like less of a good character.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I feel like Jane Lynch, if given the reins, has so much more range and ability to be funny.
Yeah.
But they're just like, here's this box, stay in it.
Yep.
And she can still be like, I don't know, like the quote unquote bad guy, the antagonist. But there's nothing new. It's all the same.
I
mean, Counterworld is Will the bad guy.
Our Gleeboot.
Yes. Also in Glee, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, but they don't want us to think that.
Oh yeah, they remind us of the opposite many a time. I think honestly that like I kind of want to see a long con from Sue where she like pretends to do something and then it ends up turning out to be like this big ass plot. But her cons never last that long. It's always just episode to episode, just like it's kind of like Wile E. Coyote. Like
that's true.
Except those can still be funny.
Do you think because that would be, it's one of those with the writing style, it could be a long con and they could change it at any point, right?
Yeah.
Like if they want to change it, like in the past history of the show, it changes pretty quickly. So
yeah, I just think we are just gonna need to buckle in because there's 6 seasons of Glee, baby, and not a lot of.
She's not gonna change it all over 6 seasons. Like we're not gonna get anything new from Sue.
I don't know.
Maybe a new tracksuit.
Maybe
new tracksuits. Yeah.
Okay.
Alyssa's like, exciting.
Why did I agree to this podcast again?
That's gonna be your new obsession. It's like Sue wasn't funny at all. She did the same exact thing she did in episode 17.
Yep.
Yeah. So she puts together the Hecklers Club, and now it's time for the Night of Neglect. Kurt and Blaine show up to come see, and Kurt is showing Blaine around his high school, and Blaine's like, "Oh, you missed them," and he's like, "Yeah." And then Karofsky shows up and is like, "Hey, I heard you guys were here, spreading your fairy dust everywhere, and I just had to be here and be mad.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like,
because I'm at school after hours.
yeah, he's like, I was down working out and someone told me you were here. And it's like, okay, why are you, like, what is the point?
And
There's no one even there to, like, see him acting out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the whole reason he acts out, is so that people don't get the wrong idea.
Exactly.
And there's no one there. So why?
Because undertones, is he, well, I guess it would be a spoiler. Is he gay as well?
Yes.
It's not a spoiler.
Yeah, we found that out,
a few episodes ago.
Second episode of the season, third episode, sixth episode. I don't know. It was super early.
Yes, I think it was 6, yeah. Because he kisses Kurt. And so Kurt and Blaine both know, and they're like, we know what's going on. Could you stop? And then...
Could you...
Because there's no one to do this for.
Yeah. And then Santana shows up and is like, hey, are you bothering these people? I'm from Lima Heights adjacent.
I have razor blades in my hair.
Just hidden everywhere.
She at one point puts her hand up near her face to brush some hair back, and I really wanted her to pull a razor blade out of her hair.
Right, yeah.
I was waiting for it. It didn't happen.
It was really odd. I didn't understand why... Like, I understood, like I saw Santana in the background. I don't know why she was just so nice to them. What was going on there?
Planting seeds for further Santana storylines.
I was going to say, because, like, this did nothing to drive the plot of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Well,
the plot, in quotation marks.
yeah. The loosely driven vehicle. But, like, it was just, like, was it to remind us that, like, there's this tension, or just so they could throw that zinger of a line, fairy dust? Like, I
just don't know what was, like, why Santana was nice. Like, I could understand her, like, wanting to jump in to, like, bust up Karofsky, like, bust that little fight that was about to happen, I guess. But she was, like really nice to Blaine and Kurt when, like, normally she's just, like, kind of rude to everyone. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it, like, I mean, combined with the, like, I mean, well, I guess we'll get to the end, but the white woman saviorism piece that they were, like, that was present in this episode.
Yeah.
Of, like, that, and then, like, letting Mercedes sing seemed like, okay. Like, it's because Santana's, like, she kind of means, like, the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, she's never really been that nice to Kurt either. Like, she usually just,
makes
like,
a lot of gay jokes.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that like didn't happen. That she wasn't, like, I don't know. It just didn't, like, I understand, like, obviously it's sowing seeds, but it just really took me out of it because I was like, we've never really. I was like, have Kurt and Santana ever had a conversation that wasn't just, like, kind of sassy to each other? I don't know.
Well, I feel like she could have stepped in, like, to make fun of people, and then it got turned around, so that she would, like, actually have been... How do I put this? So, like, if she stepped in to make fun of Kurt and Blaine while Karofsky was there, and then Karofsky said something to piss her off, she could very quickly change sides and get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that would be much more current to what we know her character to be.
Even if, like, she wasn't even doing it to be mean, if she was just being a bit more chummy with them, but still kind of had that same, I guess, rapport with them, of, like, making, and then, like, Karofsky shows up, like, I guess that kind of would have made more sense.
I mean, at this point, we might have put more thought into her character development than the writers
Quite
did.
literally. And this
probably too. No, I was actually thinking about this. I was wondering if, like, our discussions about what we would make happen in this scene in any way mirrored the discussions of what the writers actually had.
Like, I really just think they're like, okay, we need to plant this seed with Santana to like hear kind of a bit about Krofsky because maybe that'll come into play, or like we need to plant that Santana's gonna be really nice to Kurt and Blaine because maybe they're gonna become friends or something. Like they're planting something. Like we just need these 4 people in a scene, do it, and that's what happened.
Especially because they were writing it after they had already written 18.
Yeah, they were in season 3 already, right? And they were like, shit, guys. This episode is due next week.
Yeah, so the Sunshine Corazon is pulled from the Night of Neglect by her coach.
Well, we don't know that yet. She just cancels.
Yeah, she doesn't show up.
Santana says it. She breaks the news.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And so none of her 600 followers are there.
Surprise.
Yeah, and they didn't have rides. They didn't have parents.
No one has parents.
Yeah, no one has parents.
Wait, this isn't Disney, right?
It is now. Disney owns it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, where's Judy Fabre, who cures her own meats?
Yeah, she loves she was all about, oh, did I miss any other performances? Well, here you go, Mom. Here's another performance that you missed.
Yeah.
But no, Judy Fabre, she gets to go to work now. She cures her meats for a job now.
Yeah.
Not a hobby anymore.
Yeah, so no one's there, and so they're like, this is embarrassing, we should cancel. And Finn is like, we can't do that. You know, what's that saying? The show must go all over the place or something like that.
That is literally, I was like, that is the dumbest thing Finn has ever said. Because I know for a fact that he knows that phrase. And the writer's like, Finn has to say something stupid. And they're like, he's not going to know one of the simplest, probably one of the most well-known phrases in many different facets of life. The show must go on.
I loved it. I thought it was cute.
The show must go on. 5 words. I didn't get it. It wasn't funny.
I laughed when he said it.
No.
I think I'm laughing more now. But it was, I mean, I think I might have just been kind of like collective shock when it was still going on the whole episode.
Like, yeah.
Still happening? Oh my god. There's more to this whole theory? Oh my god.
Yeah, so they decide to still go on with the show, and Tina has the opening number, which, like, thank you for them giving Tina the opening number.
Is it really thank you though? Because they were just talking about like how the people in like whoever goes last is the best person, and then they give Tina the opening number. Like, yeah, I didn't see that as a compliment in this episode.
I just love Tina, and I want the best for her.
Yeah, I would kind of like to have heard like a breakdown of like the different slots on stage, like what are the most memorable, what are often the least memorable, and to see sort of like how they ended up getting ranked, because I feel like opening number could either be really, really big if it's done really well, or it could just be like, well, we need to start the show, so we're gonna choose this person, you know?
Yeah.
But for them, it was if a tree falls in the woods, like no one was there, so they're fighting about it to perform in front of 6 people.
Yeah.
So,
and then teachers get to perform too. So where do teachers' numbers go?
Oh,
or subs only?
Yeah, subs. She's not a teacher. Yeah, that was also weird. I'm like, why is she here? Why is she singing? Like, how has she been neglected?
Yeah.
Also, how was Adele? Was Adele neglected? That was like when Adele was like about to she was skyrocketing around then. Like that was her second album. Turning Tables.
We'll
This show
there.
Makes no sense.
So Tina gets on, she's singing, and it's a pretty good song, but then she gets heckled off stage by everyone. They start
boo
booing
her. That was intense. I didn't like
it.
It
was mean. It was really mean.
And so Tina runs off crying, and they're all like, oh, this is awful. And Will's like, frankly, I think we just need to book up.
Oh my gosh. Will having more powerful toxic masculinity traits.
Yeah, he's a model teacher.
Yeah. So Tina's like, that was like the worst I've ever felt. And he's just like, you need to buck up. We need to keep on going. And then he's like, I think might have an idea on how to slow down the hecklers. So Quinn hands out the taffy.
They
and
give
it's like,
out for free the things that they were going to sell to make money. They didn't even sell a bunch of tickets. This is a waste of money.
Why is saltwater taffy gonna slow hecklers down?
Because it's sticky.
so
It's hard to
talk.
chew.
Yeah.
That doesn't prevent you from screaming.
Apparently it does in the Glee world. I also was like,
I don't know. It was weird.
I call bullshit. I was like, I get the idea, but I call bullshit. You know what
Yeah.
you should
If you're
do?
Wile E.
Give
Coyote,
them peanut butter. Jars of peanut butter. That'll work.
they'll have an allergic reaction. They'll go into shock.
Anaphylactic shock.
They can't heckle anymore after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Quinn's all like, vote Quinn Fabray for prom queen. And
To a teacher who's no longer employed.
Yep.
To students who just like aren't paying attention to her. And then Kurt and Blaine who don't even go to that school.
Yep. And then
Yeah, that was a throwaway line, but I'm glad that it got brought up. I'm like, why is
we obsess over the little things.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, and then so then Mike comes on and he dances to Jack Johnson, Bubbly Toes.
Hate that song.
Okay.
Also, how is he neglected?
Agreed.
He's also like really like super popular with people.
My least favorite, like, I hate the song. It was, I mean, the dance was okay, but what I hate more than any is like the licking fingers and then smoothing eyebrows.
I noticed
Like,
that
with the
too.
same hand. It was like the it's just the worst.
That is so funny. So a while ago, that Finn actually did that. So you have to really come to terms with who you are as a Glee character, sir. But I had to, because Finn did that one time. And I was like, Cullen, do guys actually do that?
No one does that. And if they do, you should get out.
Get out of the world. Leave.
Yeah, but he dances, and they don't heckle him because they're chewing taffy.
Because logic.
Because logic.
I actually didn't put that together at all. Like, I was like, okay, they're eating their taffy. Why aren't they heckling?
Honestly,
Yeah,
you have to jump
the
to
only
it.
one not singing.
I honestly think you have to jump to it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
It's like it's like a cartoon solution in a live action show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wile E. Coyote, the Acme candies they gave them.
Yeah, they're also like little TNTs too. So their heads blow up and they just have like ash all over their face and their hair's coming up. Yeah.
In the puppet, like he danced with
Didn't
that
like that.
broomstick.
That was
Yeah,
so
I was
weird.
like, you have a Glee club full of performers. Why didn't he dance with Brittany, who's
He
like an
wanted to
amazing
dance.
dancer?
By himself because he has been neglected as a dancer? Question mark? I don't know why
Maybe.
he's doing this.
Yeah. Oh, that again. I guess that's the neglect.
That's his interpretation.
It was getting to little like gonna move into Lars and the Real Girl. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll bring that dancer back.
Yeah, he's been neglected to dance with mops. It's all he's ever wanted to do.
The mop is going to join them at nationals.
We need another body.
Yeah. So then during intermission, Holly Holiday is like, I'm going to handle the hecklers. And she takes the heckling club to the library and is like talking to them about heckling. And they're like, they give like the most boomer explanation of the internet.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh my
That was wild.
How they like, they write on like NCIS fan pages about how they hate them.
Wait, well, is NCIS also a Fox show or no? Is that on
NCIS
CNBC?
is CBS.
So this being Fox, they're probably trying to subtle rip on NCIS
Yeah.
and Mark Harmon.
Well, no, because he likes Mark Harmon. Because at the end, his button was, "I'm gonna go talk about how handsome Mark Harmon is," and I was like, "Wow, that sounds kind of gay. Like someone would make fun of that." So, like, how come people aren't making fun of you? It doesn't make any sense. He literally is saying something that, like, he
He
had
would make
called
fun
people
of people
gay
all the time.
for other things that are literally just, like, not gay. Like, my mind was exploding like I had eaten taffy made of TNT.
Little pop rocks.
Yeah, so they're talking. So they're like, it enables them to be mean with a screen. They don't have to be mean in person. And
It's
they
almost
say
as if the internet had just been invented. That's how they're talking about it.
And she's like, but it allows you. What she used to write hate mail to Debbie Gibson,
Which, okay, sure.
So do we know who that is?
She is
No.
a singer from the 80s. Yeah, like, it's such, like, an old reference. And then she was like, yeah, I gave her alopecia, and then I felt bad. And I'm like, why? And all she was like, I was just jealous. And I was like, what? None of it made sense.
Do
Yeah.
people actually write hate mail because they're jealous?
I don't know.
I mean,
That's what the show is
maybe if
positing.
you're a psychopath?
Yeah, so basically she talks about how the internet allows you to be mean and really we're just hurt and jealous inside and maybe we should do something nice for a change. And so she saves them from their self-hatred and saves the Glee Club.
Yeah.
Thanks, Goop.
And
Congratulations.
she says something about, like, because they have more interesting sex than us. Something like that. And I was like, interesting. Is that why I feel odd about Gwyneth's Goop thing? Because she has more interesting sex than I do, and she sticks jade eggs. And she has, oh, did you hear about her new candle? It smells like her orgasm.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, which I was like, why is this being brought up with kids?
Great question.
Yeah.
She brings up a lot of really problematic things with children, and I guess it's kind of her shtick.
I want them to like, when Harvey Weinstein dies, I want them to light Goop's orgasm candle in mockery of him around his funeral.
That's a really mean thing to say about someone's funeral, even if they're a bad person.
Yep, I said it though.
Yep, he said it, and I'm not going to say anything against it because I may or may not be silently supporting that idea.
Well, I mean, but they're dead, so they're not going to know.
But
yeah,
we'll
but
know.
Goop,
That's
we'll
like-
know.
that's
And
like-
Goop took him down.
No. I don't like speaking ill of the dead.
He's not dead yet.
I know, but in this hypothetical, he's dead.
We all die eventually.
Yep, it
Yeah.
comes for all of us. Yep. So on that note, death is inevitable. But
Spoiler alert for life.
so the hecklers leave, and after we're gonna get into Mercedes' song, but after the song,
Whoa!
the pink-
We gotta go back to that button line real quick. I literally wrote, and I think this is why I wrote it. I wrote, Jacob Ben Israel is not a good kid, and I think I wrote that because he ends on, I'll be 18 in 3 years. Wait for me.
Oh my god.
That's the button, and it ends.
Ew.
Because she's like, because you're good kids, and it's like, are they good kids?
Yeah, I think that's why I wrote he's not a good kid.
Ew.
Ah!
I mean, but part of that is like we're in a culture that we make that joke like when kids are like little and cute, like 10. Like we're like, oh, you're like 8. Like call me in 10 years. Like, but then I mean, I guess bad people make that joke.
Yeah.
But but like it's like, why is that still a joke?
Right. No, like I watched Crazy Stupid Love for the first time in a long time a couple weeks ago, and they have a similar kind of storyline in there, and I was like, I'm uncomfortable, but this is a common thing people say. What's happening
People
here?
used to say it to me all the time when I was a kid.
Oh,
Gross.
that's weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was not that I was thinking, but was it like babysitters, Colin?
No, not my babysitters. They were appropriate. It was like
No.
checkout ladies and stuff.
Ugh,
Yeah.
weird.
Check out
I don't
ladies
like
checking you out.
Yeah, as a
check
child.
out lady,
As
check out
a
in more than one
child.
way.
What, when you were like 6 or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's weird.
This gets into that weird thing where like our society sexualizes children, like even when we say like, oh, is that your girlfriend, to like a 6-year-old to another 6-year-old, and it's like, it's so weird. I don't get why we still do that.
Yeah.
Haven't we all decided that's not a good thing?
Obviously.
Or is there's just a lot of interpretation? Same thing with a lot of this part of the episode.
Like neglect.
Like neglect.
Yeah.
So back to the episode. So they leave, and then the Pink Dagger, what's his name again? Sandy Ryerson is moved by Mercedes' performance, so he donates the money for the Brainiacs, which is $250.
He admits that he's technically laundering his drug money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
but what's interesting is that he literally is like, I really miss the arts. And I was like, so why didn't you give your money to the Glee Club and then a section of it to Brainiacs? Instead, he just funded the Brainiacs. Like, was this whole thing about the Brainiacs, or was it both Brainiacs and New Directions?
I actually can't answer that question.
I have no idea.
I
not even the writer.
Not answerable.
At Ryan Murphy. What is your definition of neglect? Neglected artists.
Yeah. So that's the end of the main plot. Mm-hmm. We have Will being self-righteous to Sandy Ryerson, like, get out. And it's like, you're a creep too, so please stop.
You should both leave.
You should both not be allowed around children.
Yeah, throw yourself out.
And then Sue summons Terry to action.
Yeah, I literally wrote, I forgot she was even in this episode.
Yeah, because Sue is like, we'll get into how Dustin Goolsby failed, and she's like, and Sandy Ryerson failed. Now I'm turning to you, Terry.
Honey Badger,
yeah. I was like, I can't remember her nickname. All I can think of is True.
The other thing, and this actually I kind of laughed at, was the sort of button to the episode where they're at, okay, so I'm assuming they're in Detroit at their competition, right? The Brainiacs. Mm-hmm. But Rod Remington is still the host, and it's still on the same set from that 70s show. Not that 70s show, but the 70s game show.
The 70s themed game show.
And they end on hermaphrodite Nazi sympathizers, because it's a callback to another part of the episode where in her kind of shtick to teach, Holly Holiday dresses up as the woman who made Prince what's his name leave the throne back in the day.
Edward, yeah. Wallace Simpson.
Yes. And I actually laughed. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
I love when
they could make a throwback like to 15 minutes. That's as far as they can go.
I still forget that Terry was in the episode. Like that's how my memory works with this show.
I love when Holly dresses up as historical figures.
Yeah.
It is pretty great.
Yeah, Mary Todd Lincoln is a classic.
And I love when she was talking about how Wallace Simpson is a Nazi sympathizer, because that was a great episode of The Crown when they talked about that.
So this is like a footnote, or that was like a footnote episode.
Yeah, it was a great episode where she was just like, oh my, they like, because they were Nazi supporters and it's kind of undocumented, so or not talked about a lot, so they like talked about it's neglected.
Nobody wants to talk about being a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, so they talk about how they were Nazi sympathizers, and Elizabeth is just like horrified. It's a great episode, The Crown. Check it out. Yeah.
Interesting. On your indie streaming service, Netflix.
Yes.
Well, that'll be your next podcast.
Yeah, indie streaming services, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu. We're going to cover them all.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into the Holly storyline of Holly and Will. They have their pizza date.
Oh.
And then at lunch, Emma is struggling to clean the counter, and Will is like...
Toothbrush. It's actually very sad to watch.
Yeah. And Will is like, I hear OCD symptoms flare up when people are upset.
Oh my,
Like,
yeah.
great observation, Will.
And she's like, yeah, Carl left me and he wanted an annulment because we never consummated the marriage. And he's all like, you never consummated it? Like,
Which is like the third time he's asked her if she's had sex with someone else.
But it was so weird because she was like, he wants an annulment, which he's entitled to because we haven't consummated the marriage.
And
so
then
she told him.
Yes.
He literally said,
but
in like legal terms, he was like, you guys never. Yeah, that's what it means, Shu.
yeah. But does that mean that he was getting an annulment for some other reason?
No, I think the annulment was literally, I think it's pretty much because they didn't consummate the marriage. Otherwise, it would be a divorce, right?
Yeah.
Is that how the legal system works? That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it's probably like, I mean, yeah, the problematic
I never
like
knew the difference.
infatuation with virginity that's popping up is like, this is not great.
Well, the only thing that I knew about was like annulment is like the term for official
Catholics.
divorcement in the church, the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I didn't know.
Well, I think that is the term. I don't think in a civil union you need to consummate the relationship. I think it's only in the church that an annulment applies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is she Catholic?
Like,
is Emma
yeah,
Catholic?
Yeah,
Maybe.
or I mean, Catholic or Episcopalian, would, I think,
Yeah.
would have that same terminology. But like LA County, well, they're in Ohio. Like like Ohio, like might have a creepy rule like that, but no, leave it to the Catholic Church to have that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, like annulment, I just looked it up from legalzoom.com. It just says like a legal procedure that cancels a marriage. It actually doesn't really say anything about sex on this little Google.
Because it can be anything that invalidates a marriage. So that would be if you found out you were related.
Oh, I would have never thought about that. Oh my god.
The Alabama
forced you said so bigamy, forced consent, fraud, marriage prohibited by law based on familial relationship, mental illness, mental incapacity, inability to consummate marriage. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then here's the kicker: underage marriage. Yay.
I feel like all of these could be like plots to a
Glee episode.
B movie. or a Glee episode.
I bet they're all gonna come up at one point or another. That's how the episode or the show is going. Yeah, no, so that's interesting. So like quite literally he asked for an annulment because of that then.
Because an annulment says that you were never married, whereas a divorce says you were married and now you're not.
Exactly. Interesting.
But I mean,
for all you legal buffs out there.
Legal Zoom.
I love how we just have procedures in words that say things never happened, even though they happened.
Hot take on the legal system.
If it didn't happen, why do we have all these memories? Anyway.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, I didn't really expect Glee to have a great like documentary on mental health and OCD.
Yeah,
no. So I like wasn't surprised that they just went with like standard trope and like standard reaction.
Yeah.
But like at the same time it like played into Will's savior complex, which is great.
And here's the thing is that like if they're still sort of connected like this, he still has a chance to take her virginity, and that's what he cares about, I guess. Ew.
Well, which, you know, if that's your thing, please get away from working in a high school.
Yeah.
Ew.
But I find all this that we're talking about very funny because it seems like we're really like not wanting to talk about the grapes. Him like putting on the glove and then like in a weird way, I was like, oh, that's cute. I get what's going on here. But then I'm watching it and I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, honestly, I'm not even OCD, and that was making me crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how could she be okay with him putting his hands in her gloves,
Mhm.
and then she didn't have gloves, and when he handed her the grape, she ate it anyway? Like, my empathy for OCD was going off, and I was like, that's not clean, that's not clean, what are you doing? Stop touching my grape!
Yeah, she
It's
literally
like the worst version of Ghost.
she literally just had her hands in other gloves while she was like cleaning a counter. Yeah, it's just I did not care for that at all. But then a new character starts to lurk. Everyone in Glee loves a lurk.
Goop. Holly Holiday lurks and
Yeah.
notices it, and she's like,
She was just as disgusted about the grape cleaning.
Yeah, that's really why she broke up with him. I did
He's
not like
like-
the way you rubbed that grape.
it rubbed her the wrong way.
But
Yeah.
But why? Like why did? Yeah, clearly there's so many problems with that scene.
Yeah. Poor Emma. The world this show just wants her to end up with Will, and we just want her to do so much better.
yeah.
Right. Well, and then reading her going through her biography, and like the actress being like, "Oh, it was such a good role to play." It's like, really?
Was it? Or are you just saying
Like-
that because Ryan Murphy is like, if you don't say you liked being on Glee, you will never find work again.
He killed her esteem the way he killed Emma's self-esteem.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, sorry guys. I had to be really
There's
real
bad
there.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
I'm good at that job. People hate me for it. It's very tragic.
Tragique.
What?
that's how something is even more tragic if it's tragic in French. Tragique.
Wow.
Yeah. So then Holly is teaching her. She's doing her Wallace Simpson bit, and in walks after the class leaves. In walks Dustin Goolsby, who's like, the eggs in your fallopian tubes are aging, and you need to use
Oh
them.
my
No, she calls them rare exotic pearls, and my body curdled.
And you were like, is she putting pearls in there now?
Oh God! First jade eggs, now pearls. What's next? Granite? She put granite up there? Oh God!
I mean, I haven't seen that many episodes of Goop.
Yeah.
But oh my god, that whole scene, I'm like, what? Why? Like, if that happened in a school, those people should probably spend like
So many years
behind.
in prison.
Honestly, and then she just...
Which I mean, let's break down the prison industrial system, but
Yeah.
And then she walks up to him and she's like, "Oh, are you flirting with me?" And I'm like, "In what way is that flirting? I would have punched this guy in the face."
Apparently, that is flirting because
No, I don't get it.
Because he's like, you and me, we're hot, we should bang, kind of thing, and he also like opened his legs to her,
and talked about his high sperm count.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he was literally like.
Wait, is that
sex?
supposed to be...
It was mostly about like, let's get pregnant, and I'm like, not sexy.
Was that supposed to be like a joke about flirting after you're older?
I don't think so.
No,
I think it was just like this very aggressive, like, let's like have sex, and like babies are involved, which like she's not gonna be into. She's a Rolling Stone.
nobody.
She's a sub.
Yeah.
She's a sub. Subs don't have babies. Don't you know that?
Which,
Cheyenne
like
Jackson?
babies. Let's bring that up on like not even the first date. Like, yeah, let's bring that up in
my temporary job.
meeting you for the first time, not creepy at all.
Where I'm dressed like Wallace Simpson, a Nazi sympathizer.
And he has a fucking like Bluetooth in his ear. Also, Sue gave him him a beeper, so he's also got a beeper.
Yeah.
So he looks like a
All things which
90s
are probably lowering his sperm count.
Yeah, so much radiation. Also, he says that his hairline is 80% his own, which is really interesting because that actor literally just came out like a couple weeks ago saying that he had like surgery to get like hair plugs and stuff. And I was like, what is happening?
Self-burn.
Did Glee know
Right.
this?
Ryan Murphy probably did. Like, odds are. Like,
Ryan Murphy
legit.
probably conned him out of the information or something. Actually, I don't know. He's been in a lot of the actor's been in a lot of Ryan Murphy's stuff, so like maybe they're friends and Ryan Murphy
And
crossed a line by being like, I'm gonna put this in my episode. Are you okay with that? No, not really. Okay, here's the line. Read it.
Was when did the Burger King Tiny Hands commercial for the Big Whopper come out? Was that right around this time?
Wait, what?
Or after that?
There was a
'cause
commercial?
he talks about Will has tiny hands and he can't eat a Big Mac. He has to eat it piece by piece with his tiny hands.
Yeah, and then
That's a reference
then
to
Burger.
something?
Well, because then Burger King has a commercial about the Whopper saying like, "I have tiny hands, I can't eat there. Like it makes them look so small." And like, so which came first?
The chicken or the egg?
Is Burger King committing infringement on the copyright of Glee, or
Burger King small hands. What?
and it's
2009, 2010.
so Glee ripped from the Burger King commercial,
Wow.
This episode really was not creative.
No.
and that's why they said Big Mac because it was a Burger King with the Whopper.
Wow.
Huh.
What? I did not. And my mind is blown. I have to go watch that commercial now.
So Will comes in and he's like, my hands are tiny enough or big enough to knock your teeth out.
So he's not saying that his hands aren't small, which I thought was
They're
funny.
They're tiny enough to grab those pearls.
Oh. No.
That was bad.
Now he has gloves though from.
Oh my god! Hannah!
Sorry, I have to. It's my terrible psyche.
It's the way this episode was put together.
The episode made me do it.
It's
Yeah.
not an excuse.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So Dustin, so he leaves, and Will's like, I thought we were supposed to have lunch together. And she's like, I did come for lunch, but you seem to be otherwise occupied, or like you seem to be enjoying yourself. And she's like, he's like, let's rehearse the duet for the benefit. She's like, I'm not in the mood for duetting. And
Oh, I
he's
missed
all like,
that. I forgot they were supposed to do it. I totally missed that.
What neglected duet do you think they do?
Oh God.
Probably something Sunny and Cher, something really indie.
It's something really popular.
Yeah. What's the most popular duet out there? Marvin Gaye.
They probably do something from A Star Is Born.
Shallow.
Into like preemptively.
Glee invented Shallow.
Glee invented Lady Gaga. Or at
Next
least
episode is called Born This Way.
I know. I'm excited to talk about it. Not really. I don't really remember. I remember vague parts of it, and then the rest of it's probably going to be garbage. And I'm going to be like, wow. Just like every episode.
So then during the performance, during the Night of Neglect, Gwyneth Paltrow, Holly Holiday sings Turning Tables by Adele, and she looks at Will longingly. And
The whole time. He was the only one there.
yeah. And there's a whole orchestra and like piano and like this fancy arrangement.
Yeah.
Even their kids didn't want to come.
Choir.
Or their parents.
Like, it was crazy. There's so many people involved in this. So many people dedicated time for them to not make any money.
And so afterwards, she's like, she comes out of the closet.
What?
She walks out of a closet that is revealed to
Janitor's
be
closet. Yeah.
her office. It's the only one Figgins gives her, and Will implies that they had sex in the
Yeah,
James
which
calls
is
it.
Oh my
Time.
god. On their first date, no less.
Was it? I missed that part.
I don't think
It was
that
one of their dates. It was her favorite date. Or his.
Yeah, they said they only had like
It was the
her favorite.
third, right?
They had 5 dates, and he's like, "You even count the janitor's closet one?" She's like, "That's my favorite date, right?"
Did they even count the pizza?
Maybe.
Like anyone you know on date number 5, are you making a cold like pizza and like having it on pillows? In your
No,
living
that
room?
was a hot pizza. Don't you remember? It burned his
Hot.
mouth. Oh,
But that's like date number like I don't know, not 5. Like
After you're married.
yeah, I was gonna say that's like 5 years in.
Guys, she's a sub.
True. She has to move really fast because she's only there for a little while.
So she gets a job teaching French in Cleveland, and he's like, permanently, and she's like, oh, just for a little while.
And she's like, "Don't you know I'm a sub?" For the 17th time this episode.
So he's like, you don't have any regrets around leaving? And she's like, we all knew I was going to break your heart. You're such a nice guy. And just like I said in the song, I have to do it before you break mine because you're in love with Emma, basically. And thanks to my counseling, because
Great counseling. Great counseling is what she said.
Because she counseled Carl and Emma,
Yeah.
they are now broken up.
And she's so
now she's available.
She's so proud of herself for breaking up a marriage.
Yeah. That's...
She's a homewrecker.
In a different way.
Very different way, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. She's an unlicensed homewrecker.
And so Will's like, are you going to come and visit? And she's like, I thought you never ask.
which she just said, I don't want to break your heart or break mine, and it's time to go. But yeah, let me come visit because I want to break up your next relationship.
And then she walks into the dark, like pitch black dark. No flashlight, no lights. She just walks into this dark ass hallway.
No school is ever there.
No, exactly. I was like, but also, where are you going?
I beg to differ. Schools are dark at night. Really, really, really dark.
I don't know. Like, that was dark. But also, like,
But do they? I mean, does anyone ever clean? I haven't seen a janitor in the school.
yeah, no one uses the bathroom to actually go to the bathroom, and
It's just for singing.
just for singing and gossiping.
And washing slushies out of your face.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
slushies, actually, the floor is really sticky, and the reason there's color on it is from all the slushies that have been thrown in people's faces. They probably can't afford janitors because they just had to blow a bunch of money on this benefit that didn't make money.
And the saltwater test.
Yeah.
Saltwater.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's Arrested Development. I think we're doubling our losses.
Santana got slushied by Karofsky, and that's why she was mad at him. I forgot about that.
Well, they did show that flashback, didn't they?
Yeah.
But also, it still doesn't excuse anything else that happened in that scene. But you're right. It is kind of like
Saves a little bit.
the tiniest bit.
Like Finn's hands.
So the last storyline is racially sensitive. It is so sensitive. I love it. It's so well handled.
It's probably the best handled storyline in this episode.
And by that, I mean the worst.
Yeah, because other things, there's some logic. And
Yeah,
things you
like
might
that
be able
pizza, hot.
hot. There's some things you might be able to get behind in these other storylines. Be like, yeah, I can fix this. I don't know what to do.
It's that label of did Glee have any writers of color?
Right now, it was 3 guys writing it.
Was it
3
still
white
in
guys.
season 2?
Oh my god!
I
Yeah,
don't know.
they
Are there any gay guys writing it?
Ryan Murphy's
even?
gay.
Okay.
The creator.
So, but, like, but still, there's like still a lot of those stereotypes. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
But yeah,
Oh,
no.
it doesn't make any sense to me.
But no POCs writing it, and so like they're just like bulls in a china shop with their handling of race.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And
Bulls in a china
also-
shop.
The way that
That-
they treat, like, handle Mercedes is like her motivation. Like, she's been in this position so many other times where she has either been like, no, I want to do this, or like, can I do this, please? So it's also very like loosey goosey with that too. Like, they've never really nailed down how Mercedes handles these kinds of situations.
Nope.
So Mercedes, after they allow Sunshine to be in the benefit, Rachel is like, well, as long as you're being okay with being pushed to the less desirable middle slot, Mercedes. And she's like, yeah, okay. And then
Lauren Zeisey's face, she's literally like astounded.
which, fair enough, because Mercedes is an amazing singer.
I literally had to pause it, and I asked Cullen, wait, what did they say? Because I heard it correctly the first time, but I was unsure because it was so offensive.
And I really like, I don't really want to bring this up, but I guess I'm gonna. But like the stuff that was coming out about Lea Michele being acting very diva-ish, and then the sort of like racial connections to that, like this kind of idea is playing out here where like there's such a status quo in this Glee club that Rachel's so confident to be like, okay, Mercedes, well, I know where my place is. This new person now has come in, so we're giving her a place, and this is where your place is, kind of thing. Like, it's very, very apparent. And the fact that like the writers are like, yeah, Mercedes is gonna be okay with it right now. But other times she's not, other times she is. Yeah. There's a lot of
So Lauren comes up to her and is like, hey, can I trade your shoes for my sweaty flip-flops? And Mercedes is like, no, these are so hard to find. And she's like, really? Because your lack of self-esteem makes me think that you would do anything if anyone asked.
Oh. Yeah, that literally, this is like the second or third time people have told Mercedes that she has no self-esteem. Like Kurt did that a few episodes ago with the tot stuff. Like, it's gross.
Yeah.
Also, she's like one of the characters that has the most self-esteem.
Sometimes. That's the thing, is like sometimes she will and sometimes she's not. Which I guess like
It's
that
like the 2D, 3D thing.
yes, exactly.
2D, she has a ton of self-esteem.
Mhm.
3D, it's taken all away.
Yeah, what happened to the hell to the no Mercedes from last episode? She literally stepped in, she's like, my song is amazing. And we're like, yeah, it was the best original song that any of you kids came up with on your own. Like,
Does Ryan Murphy just think that self-esteem is the solution to systemic racism?
oh, we should ask him.
Oh.
Oh, God, yeah, ouch. That's not good. That's all I have to say is that's not good.
Because it might be true.
Because, like, who knows what some people think, and people who are media makers and the messages they put out in their episodes might reflect how they actually feel. Anyway.
Yeah, I just watched the Politicians episode on cancel culture.
Oh. Again, on your indie streaming Netflix.
Yes. So then Lauren is like, I'll be your manager if you give me 10% of whatever you earn. Because Mercedes like, since when were you my manager? And then so Mercedes is just like, sure, be my manager. And she's like, you have to make demands. Like Mariah Carey, like she makes appointments at 9 and doesn't show up till 4 because she knows people will wait. So you have to be like that.
Which she's saying, like, you need to be a diva. But Mercedes already knows that she can be a diva, like, in a more positive way, because they've had diva offs.
like 25 different times.
Yeah, so, like, Lauren is transforming Mercedes really is being controlled by Lauren here. She's literally just, like, being turned into this negative type of diva. And Mercedes is just going along with it. For what reason, I don't even know.
It was really disappointing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, again, like them bringing up like the diva culture and like then having the the black person as a diva, the one black person in your Glee club. It's like and using Mariah Carey as an example, not a good point.
Yeah.
For the record, I would never wait that long for anyone.
Okay.
The description just made me think of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, like Larry David type of episode. It's like, I tried to get there at 8, but I didn't get there till 4.
Because that's exactly what's happening to Mariah Carey. She lives in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah. So Quinn and Finn are shocked by all her demands because she demands a bowl of green M&Ms and a puppy to dry her hands on.
Which is disgusting.
Yeah, because you're going to get hair on your hands.
Yes.
And humidifiers.
Also, how does Lauren get 10% of a puppy?
Every fortnight she gets one day.
Excellent answer.
Way better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
they're gonna have a bunch of humidifiers and all these demands. Which the green M&Ms thing is apparently it comes from something a band did. Bands would do this to make sure people read their whole rider because there were like safety concerns in there, and some venues wouldn't read them, and so then there'd be accidents and people would get injured. So it was to make sure people read the whole thing. So if they had a bowl,
or if it's Insane Clown Posse, it's still people got injured.
Yeah. So then it would be like, oh, there was a bowl of green M&Ms. They read the whole thing.
Interesting.
Okay, but isn't it too late if you show up and there's a bowl of green M&Ms? Like, if you show up and there's not a bowl of green M&Ms, like,
you don't perform. And the venue loses money.
Because that's the thing is like, you say like it was in like basically it's part of the contract of terms to be able to perform there, right? So like, you may think like, oh, it's just a bowl of M&Ms. It's like, also, but did you hit all these other 5 important things that we put after it?
Yeah. So that's where that comes from, but it's been turned kind of like McDonald's hot coffee lawsuit turned into a meme of exaggeration.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And Glee using a meme.
Yeah. So then they asked...
Glee a meme? Just the show is just a meme.
It's a gleam.
Nice.
Nice. So they asked Rachel to be their head of talent relations because she knows about being a diva. So she's like, oh yes, I get this. So she gets the bowls of green M&Ms and she gets the humidifiers. And Mercedes is like, where's the puppy? Or Mercedes whispers to Lauren, who's like, I see no puppy. And she's like, Puckerman's out scouting for a Pomeranian.
Which is very hairy. You're gonna get hair on your hands if you go to use it as a towel.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is that animal abuse if you're using your pet as a towel?
Yes.
Well, there you go. But I think so. Like quickly, they're going back to how Quinn and Finn assigned Rachel talent manager or whatever. It was slightly condescending, but I kind of thought it was funny. But I was mostly confused because Quinn is not the captain. She's not the co-captain of Glee. Rachel is. Finn and Rachel are co-captains. Why are Quinn and Finn doing things other than just to be coupley? It kind of like
they're in a relationship.
It kind of felt like Rachel should have been more involved, but she got designated role from Quinn, which I would have been more as Rachel, I would have been more upset about that, in addition to them quote unquote flaunting their coupleness in her face, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So like
that actually makes way more sense.
She would have been like, no, she would have been like, what's happening here? I am co-captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a job that comes with being Finn's girlfriend.
Yeah, like she would be like Quinn is overtaking me in more ways than one. Like I feel like, but Rachel just takes it, and she was like happy to do it. Quite literally, I think she says like, I'm happy to do it because I can do this, and I'm like, Rachel, what the fuck?
Yeah. So then, because there's no puppy, Mercedes whispers to Lauren that she's upset that her demands haven't been met, and she would like on the day of the performance for her feet to never touch the ground. And like she wants to be carried in, and she's like Lady Gaga, like, do you want to be carried in on a giant egg? And Mercedes whispers to Lauren, and Lauren's like, she'll get back to you on that. Yeah, so Mercedes has all these demands, and then it turns out in the middle of everything, she's upset with the way she was treated, and she left the building. Much like Mercedes should have done a long time ago, being upset at the way she's treated.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so Rachel
That's
goes
the only decision she makes for herself, is to go and sit in her car.
Because apparently she didn't have a ride. Her parents did not come. We never meet Mercedes' parents.
Yeah, and it was raining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was pouring.
And then, yet nobody was wet.
I think
when they
it
got
always
back
rains in that parking lot, though, right? Didn't that happen to Quinn, too?
Yeah.
Just that parking lot just always has a cloud over it. Or a rain machine.
Well, yeah. And it's a level of, like, she's leaving. Yeah, she leaves now, but it's the way they wrote it, it's vilifying her in that level. And it's vilifying her into the point of, like, he knows that, oh, well, if she wants a puppy, we know that everyone identifies with the puppy and will be mad at her for wanting that for that reason. But not for the fact that, like, a bunch of white people are mistreating her.
Right.
Yeah, like this, it's almost like this whole entire episode is trying to vilify her for these stupid demands that she has, but really the things that she should be getting mad at are all very legitimate, and they just gave her character all of these stupid things to get mad at.
Yeah, because she can't be mad at things that are actually real to her, because Glee can't handle that kind of like actual conversation. Like I kind of feel like they're like, well, obviously she's mad about not being able to get solos, but we can't talk about like race things directly. Oh, so we gotta just make her a diva for a couple minutes, and then we'll blame it on all that.
Perfect.
It works. Write it. It's due tomorrow.
We'll get back to season 3.
Yeah, it's gross. Like there's just a huge conversation to be had about musical privilege, or just how Rachel is allowed more versatility in the songs she sings, whereas Mercedes is kind of often pigeonholed.
Yeah, there's so many levels to...
Which, I mean, is like in a... I mean, kind of a meta more power, like actually more empowering to her way is like, oh, this is what Aretha had to deal with.
Yeah, like if they had connected the struggles that Mercedes is putting up with in the Glee Club to an artist, like that would have been a really great connection for sure. I think we should definitely do that in the Gleeboot, like picking, at least for one person, to pick an artist who's had certain struggles that character can identify with. Yeah.
Except for me, like, what's the title of the song she chose for this one?
Ain't No Way.
Like, I mean, there's so many good Aretha Franklin songs. But I think some of the lyrics in this one were...
It's about love.
I'm trying to...
Right? Like it's
ain't no way I can love you unless you let me.
Yeah. I don't know what the connection...
not liking the lyrics.
Like, well, it's I know it's a woman's duty to help and love a man. Like,
yeah.
And that's the way it was planned. Like, that was, like... of all of the Aretha songs, and I mean, she has a lot of more empowering songs.
Mhm.
Like that's the one that they had her do.
Yeah.
Like, and it's basically I mean, in a way, it's like it's ain't no way. It's my duty to like play second fiddle in this show.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, and
so true. It hurts.
yeah, the other thing is like when we were talking about how she gets kind of pigeonholed, she gets pigeonholed into like in any sort of big group number they do, Rachel has the solo or like the female solo, female lead role, and then Mercedes is always there with runs and like um more apparent background vocals that like you can like pinpoint her voice, right? And that's kind of what she gets. And that's that yeah, there's like so many layers to the stuff that she's dealing with. It's not even just that like she doesn't get solos. It's like she's so limited that she does get to sing, but it's only in a certain way.
Yeah. Let's get to Rachel and Mercedes' car conversation.
Okay, we have to.
We've all been trying.
Another white girl telling Mercedes how
Aretha
she needs
Franklin
to solve
is.
her problems. Oh yeah, that too. Gives her a history lesson.
Oh, like let's white explain.
Yeah, Aretha Franklin. Yeah. So Rachel comes in and is all like, Aretha Franklin did this and she got this crown, and that's how she became the Queen of Soul, by singing, not by being a diva. And Mercedes is like, I just want one of those moments that you get all the time. And it's like, fair.
Yeah.
You have an amazing voice. And Rachel's basically like, sure, I'll give you this number. Go in and sing. And she goes in, she sings Ain't No Way.
Well, no, that's
Everyone's blown away.
what she says is, if you want it, take it from
You have to
me.
take it.
She's basically saying this is a meritocracy. This group is a meritocracy, which it's not. But she's literally saying if you're working hard enough, you can get to do what I do. But Rachel doesn't have to work really at all.
She
so
just
like
gets it.
it's yeah. So Rachel's
Yeah.
literally like, this is a meritocracy. Like if you work hard enough, you're gonna get there. No. And she's
so she has a view of America right now.
Yeah. She's also saying like, okay, like you're mad about all these things and you're having all these demands, but like that's not how Aretha handled it. Like she didn't do it this way. And so she's literally telling Mercedes that like the way she handled it is invalid, and it's like anytime she tries it another way, it's not working. Like so Mercedes is trying to do things even if the idea was given to her, but like Rachel's literally telling her like your demands are invalid, even though like Rachel demands a solo every single time. She demands her place be static. She demands everything.
Wait, was that Karen or Rachel?
Rachel's middle name is Karen. Rachel Karen Berry. But yeah, so like she's literally telling Mercedes her approach was invalid, and then also telling her like this is a meritocracy, just work harder.
Oh, you should stop looting. That's really what you should do.
This episode ended up a lot more of a metaphor for American race problems than I expected.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty episode, and that's exactly
and it reinforces all of those negative, harmful messages too, because Mercedes takes Rachel's advice. Well, yeah, I guess you can call it advice.
This is the way to be successful. This is the way. Oh, and look, and now I'm blessing you with letting you be the
and
last
Rachel's
one.
like, of course I can't follow that. And that's it's just like, it's like, oh my god, thank you, Rachel, for letting Mercedes have this moment. So she hugs her. It's just like another person thanking someone else for literally no reason when that person should be slapping that other person.
Yeah, when Rachel 5 minutes later will not give Mercedes a solo at Nationals.
Next week.
Yep.
Next week, we literally have to compare Rachel and Mercedes again to like see what the jump was. See if it goes back to normal, if there's any change.
Yeah. So those are all the storylines. So what other final comments we have on the episode before we get into our final closing portions?
This episode was boring, but there was a
so
lot more to talk about than I thought.
Honestly, like when we got to the end of the episode, I did a double take because I was still waiting for something to happen. That's how boring it was. Like I was like, wait, that's the end? There were no stakes. There was nothing.
Yeah.
What? I was actually waiting for the episode to begin, and then it ended.
All of the storylines were very resolved easily because Sandy Ryerson gave them money. Rachel
Mercedes
happily
accepted.
handed
Nice.
over the last closing number. Is just
Yeah, and that money could have gone on for a couple more episodes, right? Like
They always have money problems that come and go, yet they have these lavish concerts. Mercedes had a whole choir behind her.
yeah, and
Yes.
they have Mac
entire
computers,
gospel
Mac
choir.
computers all over.
after coming in from a empty parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, where was the choir? Were they watching the whole time, or were they just sitting behind stage? Like, we're not watching
Yeah.
someone sing turning tables.
Yeah, they spent more money with getting pizza to feed everyone than the saltwater taffy they handed out.
Oh God, yeah.
So, I think it is Tina time.
Confession. Neither Cullen and I actually counted her lines, but I know she spoke at least once.
She probably had.
I'm gonna guess around 5.
I was gonna say.
I was
around
gonna
5.
say, like 3.
I may say 5+ because
Does the song count?
No.
No.
she also she cried and talked at the same time. She talked about being in Brainiacs. She probably had a one-liner here or there. Yeah, maybe about 5.
Five is probably good.
Yeah. So now, Connor, who is your least favorite character this week?
Teacher dude.
Will. Good choice.
Yeah.
Teacher dude.
He has to be, and as the act, did he demand to be in every scene? He's the one person who's in most scenes and just doesn't contribute.
That's the show. That's the tagline. She's in nearly every scene and he doesn't contribute.
MVP would be. I'm not sure.
You have time to
This
think
episode
about
was
it.
hard. Okay.
Because we'll go through,
Okay.
Hannah, who is your least valuable player?
I went with Sandy Ryerson because he rarely shows
that was
up.
a good choice.
I picked him solely because he self-identified as a predatory gay. But also many other reasons, but that's the reason that stuck out the most.
Alyssa?
I'm also going with Sandy Ryerson because he's creepy and gross, and I don't want him to come back. And they keep bringing him back. Why did they keep bringing him back?
Because he's funny.
No.
I can't think of one funny thing that he said.
Mm-mm.
Not funny. It's not funny.
Also didn't like his tagline. You've just been poked by the
Ugh.
pink dagger.
No.
And I was like, you're not allowed to say that
No.
ever.
You're making a terrible penis joke. Really?
Mhm.
Ugh.
Oh, pink dagger.
Oh! I just
Yeah!
got that.
I did too! Oh my god! That's too many gross penis jokes.
Yeah. No, that was
Just no.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to go with Dustin Goolsby and his creepy flirting.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't have enough Glee exposure to dive down into all those other terrible characters.
Yeah.
You're just dealing with the initial shock of Will Schuester.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yes.
I think
very
our
much.
LVP was probably Shu the first 6 episodes.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So could you conjure an MVP?
Mm,
It can be the
I mean,
pizza.
I mean, I liked the pizza's effort. I also liked Brittany's knowledge of cafex and like for sweets. And but yeah, I'll have to go with the pizza.
Yeah.
It was so put. I mean, talk about like. I mean, he just likes to oppress everything in that show. So he also oppressed the pizza.
Shout out to that pizza. I'm gonna go with Tina because she was the only person that actually got heckled, and it sucks that she had to go through that, but hopefully it'll make her a stronger person. But honestly, like, good for her and going out there doing her thing. I'm proud of her. Yeah,
Alyssa?
I can't think of a single person.
it was hard.
I'm going with Tina too, because Tina, she actually sang a song by an underrated artist.
Right, yeah, that's true. She followed the assignment.
That was probably my favorite song in this episode.
Yeah, and it's
even though I didn't get to finish it.
I'm ashamed she didn't get to finish it. It's a shame, and like she went through some real traumatic stuff, and she's doing well in the Brainiacs, and like I love Tina.
I think I'm also going with Tina. I usually try not to jump on the bandwagon, but
yeah, it's
Tina's only the only real character in this episode.
In an episode with few redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
right.
And she only had 5 lines. Maybe that's why she was so good.
Short and sweet.
Where was Finn in this episode? Finn was like, he had his one line that is like something is cute, something is terrible. The show must go all over. So.
Yeah, well, he did pop a saltwater taffy early on, so maybe it was stuck in his mouth the whole time.
So, Connor, what was your least favorite song?
Holly Holidays. Like, that was like, why is this here?
Turning tables?
Yeah.
It was a weird rendition too. I couldn't really make heads or tails of like the sounds that were coming out of her mouth. Like, it kind of sounded good, and then other times I was like, I don't know about this.
Was she actually singing? Was Gwyneth Paltrow singing?
Yeah. She sings.
Well, what we said in a previous episode is she'll have words come out of her mouth melodically. Sometimes it sounds good, and sometimes we're like, oh, kind of sounds like you're talking. My worst song this week was sung by the artist himself. I'm going with the Jack Johnson number because I don't like that song. What's his name? Yeah, Jack Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For a second I was like, is that wrong? Yeah, I'm going with that number. I don't like it. I didn't really
well, it's in the Jack Johnson vein of creepy songs, like
yeah, bubble toes, like what?
Your little foot fetish.
No.
Yeah, and I just also didn't think I liked the dance, and I love Mike, but it was weird. I didn't like the mop thing, and I was kind of bored. I'm sorry, Mike.
I need a rundown of the songs.
The songs include Tina's I Follow Rivers, Ain't No Way by Aretha Franklin.
By Mercedes.
No, by Mercedes.
All by Myself.
All by Myself. I Follow Rivers, Bubble Toes, Turning Tables, and Ain't No Way.
That's it?
Yeah.
I was, as a non-passionate Glee fan, I was real kind of bummed that there weren't, like, I was like, this is supposed to be about singing.
This is a music
no song.
anemic episode for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bubble Toes. It was weird. I didn't like the lyrics. I didn't like pretty much anything about it.
We're just like crapping on Jack Johnson, the actual artist here. We're not even like
he is
too
high to care.
Like what I didn't understand was why didn't they have like I get it was just like one person at a time, but it would have made more sense if they'd actually done a cover, and if like God forbid, Puck or even like Sam had just played it on their guitar or something.
Sam could have done a good Jack Johnson.
Yeah, it just. That's why I didn't understand. I was like, why are we hearing the actual song?
Yeah, I'm going with All by Myself.
Oh.
She has a great voice, but it was kind of boring. That's it.
Okay.
And it was basically the OG song.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, to me, I want to see them do a little bit of flair.
Yeah. You want them to do what they do with Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite song?
What was, I'm trying to remember. I was, like, looking up other songs. What? Go through the list again.
All by Myself, I Follow Rivers, Bubble Toes, Turning Tables, Ain't No Way.
Oh, I Follow Rivers.
Go Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Go Tina.
Hannah?
Like,
I am countering Cullen. I actually chose All by Myself because it was the first one that came to my mind because we had gone through the list when I decided. And I'm going to stick with it. It's like a catchy song I can sing along to, and I think Sunshine does a really good job. I thought all the numbers were boring. Yeah.
it was, I mean, every song was like orchestra in the back,
Or Jack
one
Johnson's
person
record.
standing there. Yeah, yeah. Like there's
no creativity happening.
Mm-mm.
No. Just a black stage.
Like, who wants to go and just watch a bunch of ballads and then one guy
Yeah.
dance around?
No wonder they didn't sell any tickets. Well, then what was the dude? Who's the dude with the bad haircut and leather jacket? The
Puck.
high school.
Puck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the John Hughes character. Like, let's be in every high school film. Like he's like, oh, I sold 4. Who did he sell those to? I didn't see those 4 people.
Right. Did they
so
ask
true.
for refunds?
They were like, I don't want to listen to a substitute sing Adele.
Yeah.
Yeah, a breakup song, and then Finn's like, didn't get it.
Alyssa.
Or Will.
Will, yeah.
Yeah.
Alyssa?
I'm gonna go with All by Myself. I'm
Okay.
here
Good
for
ballsy.
Sunshine Corazon. She is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she has such a big voice coming out of such a tiny body.
Yeah. You've been asking about Sunshine Corazon quite a bit, and we keep telling you, like, we don't know when she's going to show up. She'll just pop up one day.
She did!
Today was that day.
And we'll probably hear from her more because we're getting close to nationals, right? So she'll probably pop up more.
My favorite, I Follow Rivers. Love Tina. It was a cool song. I wish we got to hear more of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that sums up our episode today. That's about it. Connor, do you have any social medias you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I'm Twitter and Instagram. I'm PuckStopConnor, and right now it's probably just a lot of bikes and links. Generally, a lot of links and resources to share. I'm in the Twin Cities, so we're in kind of the heart of the uprising right now. So we're definitely sharing in trying to prop up a lot of local resources. So if you're looking to donate or looking to help areas for people in need, you can find it at PuckStopConnor, and that's Connor with 1 N.
Cool.
Puck.Connor?
Puck Stop Connor, because he stops the puck.
Yeah, it's an old. I used to play hockey.
You gotta spell that out, because I.
PuckStopConnor.
Cool.
It's because he hates the character Puck, so he's like, Puck Stop.
Yeah.
Connor.
Love Connor. Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. If you have lots of resources, we're definitely going to point people in that direction. So we are at Gleeboot Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and then we're also gleebootpod.tumblr.com on Tumblr.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourboyryan99, and you can follow me on YouTube at yourboyryan. That is YABOI Ryan.
I don't feel like saying my social medias today, so all y'all listeners who want to follow me will have to wait till the next episode.
Ooh, stay tuned
Dun, dun,
or
dun.
go back.
Power move.
Yeah.
These are your demands.
She hated this episode so much. She's so she can't even say her own name.
My name is exhausting to spell.
Yeah, you do have a long name. But it's fun to
Mhm.
say with all the letters. Because you say it so melodically.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It is my name, so I should know how to say it.
Yeah, I would hope so. That'd be really embarrassing.
Well, Brittany can't spell her name, so.
True.
True. How many M's are there in the letter R?
So tune in next week for the Born This Way episode. Connor, thanks so much for being on. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yay.
Yay.
Ta-da!
So see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.